This is an early portrait of Tony Buzan, and I wanted to capture different elements of his personality as he evolved over time up until I think it was in the 1990s. So it's getting later on that this portrait was being made. And by that time he was a global communicator, and I thought in the abstract, how would I be able to communicate a communicator in terms of the visual language? So the most obvious thing was, what do you communicate with? And that was the mouth. So I decided to start and use the mouth as the basic emblem for the painting, and to intersect it with his personalities. So I had two aspects. I had the mouth, I had the changing of his personalities, and then also how to incorporate the vulnerability. So the vulnerability to me was bare bones of a situation. I painted the bones down here, indicating the vulnerability of the human being, and then from a young man going through up until as he was in the 1990s, and then to also incorporate two different sides of the psyche. The two different sides were the maleness of a human being. So this is an ancient symbol for the feminine, the bison, and then the hunter. And then I used the number 4 really just as a visual device, because it helped me to then create rhythms through the painting to the side of the painting, and then a symbol of chaos, which was fundamentally order. And then at the top of the painting there is the sun, the planetary aspect, which I used as a source of light, so that the yellows are being cast on the top of the skull, down through the features of the skull, and reflecting all the way down through the painting and then onto the arms, which is also the top of the mouth, so it's ambiguous, and then down onto, this is part of the waist here, and it is also the front of the mouth here, leaning on his knees, so it's ambiguous. And on the right-hand side, the planetary visual aspect of his psyche, so that I have the obvious planet, and then the spiral of the galaxies, the crescent moon, the cube I've used because Tony had recently learned to draw a cube, and to use it, that knowledge, as part of the mind mapping which he had invented. And then here, in very fine gold, I've used a geometric symbol, and the geometric symbol was part of the being a poet and Blake, and also circumscribing the universe in terms of the mathematics, because part of Tony's being is a polymath, many fields of knowledge. So I had to simplify those many aspects of Tony into different evolving personalities, the psyche, complexities of his vision, the communication that he uses to be able to impart his ideas globally, which is the circular painting, the vulnerability of compassion in using that compassion to lecture to people and to identify with his audiences, and the ambiguity in the painting of space as far as the ambiguities of life is concerned in navigating it towards your goal. Tony Buzan, the communicator.